Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tom Rizano, and this is episode 186 of Online Marketing Moves. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Tuesday, January the 26th at the time of this recording, and we are coming to you live today from the very rainy Augusta, Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about disappointment. This is going to be a quick podcast, but sometimes in life you get a little disappointed. Sometimes you get a little discouraged, but I'm here to pep you up, okay? Now, we are all aiming for something in life, all of us. No matter what it is, big, little, small, medium, extra large, muy grande, I don't care what it is. We are all aiming for something. Now, and sometimes you don't get there as fast as you want. Sometimes you might not get to the point that you're looking for. But don't get discouraged. Alright? You can be angry. You can be annoyed. You can be pissed off. However you want to put it. But don't get discouraged and don't quit. Sometimes things go, sometimes things don't go exactly the way you want them to go. But you have to readjust, reassess, figuring out, hey, what can I do to make this thing right? What can I do to fix the problem? All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't be discouraged. Don't be disappointed. Because when you start getting disappointed, a lot of people, they start to get disappointed, and then the disappointment turns into frustration, and frustration turns into quitting. And the one thing I don't want you to do is quit. It's just like I saw this story. I listened to this podcast from Joe Rogan. He was talking to this wrestler name. His name is Mark Calloway, but we know him as The Undertaker, okay? And he talked about how he first wanted to get started in the wrestling business. He went to the same place every week for 8 months. 8 months. He said they ignored him. They didn't give him a chance. They wouldn't talk to him. They just sort of looked at him, walked by. They walked by. And then he said he was getting towards his wit's end about the whole situation. And then finally he said one day somebody came up and said, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm trying to get a break. And they said, you know what? We're going to put you on the show Friday night. So what did they do? They put him on the show Friday night. He had a match. The match went okay. And then the guy that he wrestled with said, hey, this guy should get more opportunities. And the guy, his wrestling career started then. I mean, he had to wait around 8 months. Well, the first story he told was about how he paid a guy $2,000, all the money he had basically, to get started in wrestling school, and the guy sort of bailed out on him. So he bailed out on him, left him hanging, and that's $2,000 down the drain, which back in them days was a lot of money. So I tell you that story to say we all go through some disappointment, some annoyance, a little frustration about a lot of things, especially when you're starting, because a lot of people, when you're trying to start something new, is one of the most challenging things that you can do. Starting something new that you don't know a lot about, and most of us that listen to this podcast, we are trying to start a business, or we're trying to start something, something creative, content creation, affiliate marketing, copywriting, whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to start it. It's probably something you've never done before, or it's something that you wanted to do, and you turn this want into a desire, and with that said, with the desire, sometimes you go through lows, you go through disappointments, you go through different situations, you go through some negative stuff, but at the end of the day, if you just think about why you're doing it, what makes you do this, what challenges you to keep going the way you're going, then you will overcome these obstacles. You know what I mean? I will give you the perfect example. You know, as me myself, me and my wife, you know, we got married, and I told my wife, I said, I want to spend, you know, I said, as I get older in life, I want to spend more and more time with you. You know, I don't want to be gone on the road, blah blah blah. I don't want to be having to be driving the truck. You know, if my wife picks up the phone, I want to be able to say, all right, honey, I'll be right there. You know, so I don't want to have to work for anybody. I've done it a long time. I've done it, you know, since I was 16 years old. So for me, whenever I get disappointed, some days, some of these podcasts, they get a lot of downloads. Some days they don't get a lot of downloads. So, you know, we're still at the beginning stages of the podcast. You know, it's been 6 months. You know, so for me, some days I'm like, man, I should. Some days I had the thoughts I think to myself, I said, maybe I shouldn't have recorded that day. But I'm like, no, you got to keep recording. You got to keep recording, because some episodes, I'll just give you an example. Some episodes I recorded, one day they may get one download, and then I go back a couple months later, and it's like, all right, this episode has gotten a few more downloads since then. So, you know, the disappointment I had that day, you know, or that evening, or, you know, that couple of days later, it's like, oh man, maybe that wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. It doesn't matter, you know. I have to keep going, because in my mind, I keep thinking to myself, the more I do this, the more I build up my affiliate marketing business, the more I will be able to make money and move off of this, you know, job that I'm in, you know, supplement my income with my business, you know, on a full-time basis. And then I will be able to be at home, and I'll be able to do what I want to do. And then, you know, my wife calls and says, hey, you want to have lunch? I'll say, sure, let's have some lunch together. You know, and I won't be dictated by a job. So for me, that's my motivation. That's some of my motivation. You know, want to spend a lot more time with my parents. You know, they're getting older. So, you know, you want to be able to spend as much time with them as possible, you know. So these are different values that I have that for me, it supersedes the disappointment, you know. Because I know if I just keep striving and if I keep moving forward, then I know eventually the dam will break and the downloads will be there, you know, boom, 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 but it'll be, you know, things will get better. So I just gave you my personal story because I don't want you to get, you know, if you get discouraged, that's, you know, but I want you to remember, I want you to hold on to the reason why you are doing the things you're doing, why you are putting in the extra work, why you're getting up early, why you're staying up late, you know. What's your motivation? What's your reason, you know? Hold on to your values, hold on to the things that matter to you the most, you know, whether it be your family or your dog, you know. If you want to see your dog every day, play with your dog all the time, you know, have your dog sit next to you while you're at home working, you know. Whatever is the thing that you cherish the most, you know. Think about that whenever you like, oh man, I didn't get any YouTube views today, you know. Don't worry about the YouTube views, you know. Just keep producing the content, and the YouTube views will come, you know. You just have to figure out the whole marketing thing, the whole strategy, you know. It's all a process, you know. And don't get discouraged by the process, you know. You know, it makes you think sometimes, because it's like, all right, I've done this trucking thing for 15 years. When I first got started, I definitely wasn't an expert. Matter of fact, I stunk it up the first couple of years I was driving, you know. It was very touch and go with my whole trucking career. But now I can move, I can groove, you know. 15 years, you know, it's like a muscle memory. If I take off 3 months from driving trucks, I can get back in the truck, boom, 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 like I just got into it yesterday, you know. And 14 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do that. If I took off more than 2 days, I was no good. But I was no good when I came back, you know. But here we are, you know, 15 years later. So I had to think. So for me, I'm just talking to you about me, because for me, when I first started online, trying to make money online, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I would try to do something, then I would get annoyed, and I would be like, man, I can't believe this ain't working. But you have to overlook people. You have to overlook people hyping things up, telling you how easy it is. Yes, it's easier for them because they have a list of 30,000 people. And soon, it will be easier for you when you get 5 years, 10 years into your business. Things will get easier for you too, because you will have a nice list, doesn't matter how many people you have on your list. What you want is insightful, engaging. You want to engage an audience on your list. Because 30,000 tire kickers, you're still not going to make any money. But if you have 3,000 engaged folks, then you will be able to make a substantial income. So, with that being said, don't fall into the discouragement trap, because I bring this up because I was talking to somebody the other day and they was very down in the dumps, and I said, you just gotta sort of keep going, I said, I know it's that's not the best, I'm not Tony Robbins. I can't really hype you up, I'm not that kind of fella. But what I can tell you is anything that I have ever really wanted to do, and when I set my mind to it, I don't care how long it takes, it gets done. Okay? It gets done. It's not about, this didn't work in 2 seconds, let me quit. No, it's about, you have to keep coming back. You have to keep putting in the time. You have to keep putting in the work. And for some people, this whole marketing thing, this whole internet thing is gonna relate to them quick, But for some people, and you might be in the same category with me, it might take a little while. Because I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about, selling. I didn't know anything about, what call to action, This was a whole learning process. This is still a learning process, And I still don't know, I've scratched the surface, but now I got to go deep into the surface, you know what I mean? So for some people some people take to it like a fish in water, but some people, they do not. But does that mean that you should stop doing what you want to do? No. I mean, some things, you might have to make a little changes. We talked about that before. Some things you might have to, do a little course correction. But at the end of the day, hang in there. You know what I'm saying? Hang in there. Keep it going. Keep it moving. Disappointment is fleeting. Disappointment is temporary, Yeah, you can be disappointed. You say, oh, I put in all this time for this video. I mean, my friend, he made a great video. I mean, I'm not just saying it because he's my friend. Because I'll tell him some videos are great. Some videos are, okay. But he put in this video and I thought it was A1. I was like, man, this is a great video. You're going to get a lot of views. And he got very little views. And then he did another video where he just sat there talked, and then he got so many views. He said, I don't understand. I said, it's just the way of the world, man. It is what it is. It's not an exact science, so you can't really explain it. But he's like, I put in a lot of time for the other video. I was like, I know, and I thought it was great too, but it didn't resonate with people. So sometimes, even though you put in the sweat equity, you know what I'm saying? If the people are not into it, they're not into it. But if you just keep making content, because you never know what actually will be the one for you to kick in that door. You know what I mean? For people to be like, oh, okay, because as I told you before, people follow. Once you get, some people are early adapters. Some people are not. Some people wait till the train is full blown moving. You got the steam in there, and they're like, oh, I love this guy. I've been with him since the beginning, but we all know that's not true. You know what I mean? So, don't think about that. Some people are going to come very late to the party, but it doesn't matter what time they come to the party, as long as eventually they come to the party. All right. So with that being said, that's it. That's it for the podcast. Like I said, don't get discouraged. Don't get disappointed. There's plenty of. If you ever look into people's biographies or something like that, I like to read biographies. I like to listen to them, on my audio books that I listen to, and you can get more from somebody's biography than you actually can some of these so-called books from experts. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of biographies, and one day I might make a list and post them of some of the ones I listen to. Of course, as I told you before, I listened to Steve Jobs and Walt Disney. They had great. Those were two good ones. Cause I mean, both of them had failures, but both of them just kept it pushing. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's it for now. That's it for the podcast. Hope you enjoyed yourself. My name is Tony Zano. We'll be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode. But until then, I will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace.